Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Ring, ring, ring. Are you there?
I'm here. We are connected. I don't know what century we're in. you, you know what I was thinking? Next Friday,
Yeah.
we're going to be. So right now, I'm sitting in my car to record this podcast just for some peace of mind.
Right.
Next Friday, we are going to be sitting in your car together in person recording.
We are?
We
Oh,
are.
yes, you are coming. I don't know dates anymore. Like, even though we're May, I'm so jumping ahead in the future and all these like major things that I have to do that I don't know what month we're in or what day. And I know that I have like Logan's birthday, like it was Logan's first birthday, my son's first birthday, and I made him a cake today. All I can say is it's edible.
When?
Well, because you know, like you want to make a cake and then you do, and I'm happy I did because all the other years Johnny's like talked me out of it being it's a lot of work. You're already doing so much. It's like then help me, and we get these like nicer fancy cakes, but I'm like, why can't I make one? I may have my answer, but still, it was fun to make, and at least I could say that I made it, which I think is exactly what it looks like, which is fine.
It does, and it's beautiful. You sent me a picture. It's kind of when I felt really, I don't know why I had that urge when you had that cowboy themed party back in the day, and I
But that
had to
came
make
out
you.
really good.
But I was obsessed with it. I'm like, no, I can do this. Like,
I know, and you made it like with fondant to really look like a hat.
we take on quite the tasks, you and I.
It's different when you want to, but I remember with one of your birthdays, you insisted that you needed a cake made by me, and I was
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
I do remember that. It
I'm
was when
like,
I
I
went
am
to
so
single.
busy. I am so busy right now, and like your cake costs so much. Like even though I use box mix, you had a favorite flour that's so expensive,
I'm
and
sorry for being such a
I bought
selfish
it.
jerk back then.
And I bought the flour, and the flour costs like so much to put on, like, I don't know, like a $5 Duncan Hines cake that I decorated really nicely. It looks really pretty. I was just mad that it slid around in the car, which is what I'm afraid of because I mean, I'm so scared to transport this cake. It's a big cake and I don't have a box, but I have like a holder, obviously. Like it's not just suspended in the air. But like, yeah, it's really scary because like we have two kids to get out of the car to the birthday location. I
Yes.
know for a fact that there's a lot of stairs to climb.
Oh no.
I don't know if the
Why?
cake's gonna make it. Anyways, whatever. I don't know what I was thinking. This is so like I feel like a spy. This is so intense what I'm doing. Um so how was your week?
I don't remember. You?
You said there was something you wanted to tell me.
Oh, that it's
Oh,
about
is
us
it that
being
you were coming?
reunited, and it
Oh,
feels so
yeah.
good.
That's all so good. So, okay, that's really cool then. So, like, we're gonna record then next Friday together.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll see each other then. It's gonna be not. It's like I'm disappointed. It's gonna be like a short week next week, I find, and I have so much stuff to do. Anyways,
Same.
work wise. Okay, so let's just get this party started.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Christina. It just sucks because it's like we're Friday and you have to rewind your brain to the beginning of the week because I'm already like
Yes.
I'm just on like the most recent thing that happened to her. So okay, first thing I'll start with this storyline is that there was this sort of idea that possibly Willow could have been the psychiatrist's daughter,
Yes.
but I mean, I don't think that's true because he didn't seem
The
to recognize her
No,
at
and
all.
the funny part is like I watched the entire scene because I was so like sucked in into Willow's story and her
Oh
telling it and
yeah, it was
the
so good.
reactions of, Christina and Sunny. And then at the end of the scene when she's leaving, then the light bulb went off. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna rewind. No reaction from Neil.
Well,
Move on.
no, there was no reaction. Plus, he's like, "Here's my card."
Yes.
Yeah, it was very like, "I've never raised you, and your mother has never stolen you and put you in a cult." So, I mean, I think we're in the clear on that one. So,
100%.
so I think maybe was it you or maybe like somebody who commented on social media that the other idea was that he's the father of like a cult member who passed, like in DOD. I don't know.
Right. I can't remember if it was us or a comment, honestly, but I do remember that idea floating around.
Okay, yeah, so that's a possibility. or something bad happened to him. We'll find out eventually. Something to that effect, something negative and
Dun
awful.
dun dun.
So I was so happy with the therapy session. Like I was really on the edge of my seat, just wanting to stay there and hear more of Willow's story. And really, I was so on edge, just wanting to know how Christina would react. And to be honest, I was terrified. Like I didn't know it would go well. Like I didn't know it would work.
Well, same with me. I was on the edge of my seat because some reactions it looked like it was sinking in, and then
Yeah.
other times it looked like she was ready to get defensive and start talking and saying something that would throw Willow off her story. But all in all, like I don't know, like I'm still doubtful. I know it's ridiculous because she's come a long way and she
Why?
still has a long way to go, but I'm just like, okay, is this really real? Was it really this easy?
Well, we don't know how long she was actually locked up. And I mean, it sucks
True.
though, because it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you could have paced it so that there could be, because like, I understand what you're saying. She went through a huge ordeal, and the concept is it would take a lot more time to get somebody to kind of like defect on their cult. And it appears like it took like a short amount of time, but you have to remember she was like locked up in that house and they never showed her. Like
That's
you know what I
true.
mean? Like we just weren't like involved in it. But I don't know how they could have paced the story differently where we would have seen way more family interactions. But I have to say, like, I'm pretty okay with what I got. And like even today, like I thought Sonny was just crazy when he was just telling the doctor, well, like you're done now. And he was just like, no, like you hired me to
Yeah.
work with Christina. And I'm just like, you can't tell him when to stop therapy with Christina. Furthermore, maybe ask Christina. She actually seems to have a decent rapport with him, and she may want to continue to work with him, like now that it's her choice. And so, I mean, I think for the most part, she has a lot of work to do, but at least she sees Shiloh for what he is. And I feel like her focus has completely shifted now. So, I mean, I feel like in her mind, it's less about DOD or my family and more like she's just so focused on getting her pledge back.
I know. Okay, so talking about the therapy, I think everybody needs therapy, but it's hard to make a connection with a therapist. So the fact that she does have that connection, move on from DOD. This is maybe the thing that's going to help her rebuild to her life and fill in those holes that she
Oh,
had before DOD.
I think so. That's why I think it's a good idea. And I mean, I think it's going there because she's not really at all objected to this guy being her therapist. But before we get into like more stuff on how she's moving forward, I just have to say the dynamic of like Alexis, Sunny, and Christina was
Mhm.
amazing. Like in terms of
Yes.
just clicking right away on the same page when Chase showed up and
Yes.
how easy it was for them to like lie. I was just so pissed at Chase. And honestly, when he originally, like when he just showed up at the house just like that, at
Mhm.
first I was like, one, how did you find it? You
Yeah, I
knew
know. I was
Willow
thinking that too.
you knew Willow was going, and I'm like, did you like bug her?
Oh, do you
I
think he
don't
would do that?
I don't think he would. Like he's so goody goody that he follows. I don't know. I don't think that he would, but I just didn't understand how he had found them unless like the fact that they explicitly said that she was going with Michael and then he just sort of followed them. But I feel like Val didn't pass on Diane's message
That's
because
true.
technically Chase came to follow up, and I don't know if the Christina was an official thing because it wasn't, right? It's not an
No, it
official. No.
wasn't.
So yeah, so I mean, I don't know what that was about, but I just thought the whole thing was funny, and I thought it was cute when Alexis was like, "Don't talk about crimes in front of me," and then Christina and Sunny were like, "Alleged crimes." Like I just thought that was happy. Like it was really funny, and I was just happy to see Christina be back in line that way, like knowing how to lie, knowing what to say, keeping it at a minimum. Like I just really, I love that.
I feel the same way. That's exactly what I was thinking. You saw parts of her that we saw before. She was connected to her family. She protected them. They protected her. She was using the lingo. It was light. It was funny. And it was very enjoyable to watch. And, I know it's like we watch a soap opera, but we're so connected to the characters that you're like, oh my God, finally, you're okay. You're connecting with your parents,
That's what it
your
feels like.
family. Oh, I'm so relieved. It was so stressful.
It was, and like even today, like I just find it capped it off. So like even just to get before today, because today she went to Shiloh to try to get her pledge back. So during the week, she basically she's in a coded way, but very direct, basically told Val, like she was asking Val, like, how would you get someone's blackmail back? Like she was trying to get legal advice. And so to be honest, at this point, I think Christina might be comfortable with them offing Shiloh. Like she's so concerned about her pledge right now. She's not really willing to share that. That's why I hope the therapist sticks around, and I hope she shares at the very least with him.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not willing right now to tell her parents about what her pledge was. But I really feel like Christina wouldn't kind of care if he died because I just feel like she wants to protect her pledge and protect her family and protect, the very fragile state of her reunion with her family, because clearly she'll feel a little guilty for everything.
100%. And I agree too. Like, I think that if he disappeared, it wouldn't be a big deal. My
Always a big
thing
deal to
is,
her.
like, the thing is, his face is in the opening credits. So how is this going to play out? That's like my question.
Well, like you could just take him out of the credits because, like, I mean, Oscar was in the credits. He's out of the credits. Like, I, I'm like, I don't think
Easy
it means anything.
peasy.
Yeah, just a photo, quick edit here and there. Um, that's my hope, obviously. I mean, he's doing
Same
a great job
though.
playing this character, but it's just like it kind of bugs me how Sam is so divided from facts and reality and everything. So, because
Oh,
Sam, like, before we get into all of her
okay,
insanity,
good.
she does mention, because like when they meet up at the Quartermains, her and Jason, it does
Hmm.
come up this concept like, let make this be over, whatever. And then I think he brings up the concept of like maybe offing, or like the Pine Barrens, which is so fun to hear because they don't say it a lot anymore. And she was like, oh, but Chrissy's so fragile right now. And I'm like, maybe you should talk to her, because
Right?
right now she's under the impression that Sam is actually with DOD and nobody wants to tell her. And I get
Hmm.
it. It's kind of weird and it could backfire or maybe be negative in terms of her relationship with Sam. But
Yeah.
I just felt in that moment, because we've seen Christina, that you're wrong. Like, I think she would be fine if he died.
Well, this is the thing, Okay, so I'm just gonna backtrack just 1 second. I had a comment on Alexis and the whole breakfast scene where
Yeah.
she tells Christina she has breakfast, and then Alexis is like, "No, I didn't cook. Your sister cooked." But I never realized, or maybe I have said it before, and I have a terrible memory, that Alexis and both Carly can't cook for beans.
No.
I love it. So Sunny, well, part of the women he likes either super super weak meek women or super
Yeah.
strong women who can't cook.
Yeah. Oh, that's his role. Like the kitchen is his role. So
I
yeah,
love
that
it.
that was really really funny. Okay. So, well, since we're talking about breakfast, I kind of want to talk about Michael, cuz
I love
he's
two breakfasts. Two breakfasts are fantastic.
they really are, cuz I have, I mean, look, I'm home. I have two breakfasts. So
Mm.
so the thing about those two, because even like a few weeks ago, they were like at Jake's, whoa, I called it Jake's Floating Rib.
Look at you. Yes.
Look at me, a veteran fan, sort of. So yeah, the super funny thing is that, like, not long ago they shared a scene together, and there's just something like, and the thing is,
Yes.
the scenes with them too, it's not like they're like crazy scenes. They're literally just, chit chatting, exchanging dialogue. But there's just something about them two on screen that I just freaking love. Like, and I don't know what it was this time. I don't know if it's because I love it when characters mingle, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And they're true to their connections. Because look, Alexis appreciates the fact that Christina has this big brother. That's
Yes.
his sister. That's his sister's mom, but he knows Alexis and they're all kind of family. But it's also funny because he's not far in age from Christina. Like, they went to high school together, and he's this like CEO. So it's funny because he's like this little kid and he's a brother, but he's also like an adult. So he kind of also connects with Alexis too. So there's just
Yes.
something, I don't know what it is, but it's just amazing. And the fact that the show, there's got a lot going on. You got the cult. There was like Kim that day. There's just a lot of stuff going on. We have like Jordan, who's like needs a kidney. Like, so much is
Yeah.
happening. And then it made me die of laughter. Like, I gasped at the TV because, like, you just see Michael, who's like rushing off, going, "Oh, I gotta go see Christina before work," like making it seem like he has to be somewhere. He just had breakfast with his dad and grandpa, rushing off to see Christina, and then he gets there, sees her, and then like sticks around, and he looks like a little boy. Like,
I
when he's sitting there on the couch eating, like the picture I posted, he just looks like a little boy, and it's hilarious. And I'm just like, oh my god, like, what? And the thing is, the scene happens like at the end of the episode. So you see him go at the beginning, A lot of
Mhm.
like heavy stuff happens in the middle, and then at the end of the episode you see that he never goes to work and he's like chilling with Alexis. I was dying of laughter. I'm like, I needed that scene. There's just something magic about the two of them. I don't know what it is. Maybe because they're not on screen together a lot, but it's just funny. I don't know
Well, they have,
why.
it's just, I think Michael is his goofy self. Like we see him on like
Yes.
Instagram and his like regular human person character.
Yeah.
So they're really great together, and it seems
His
like he's
human
comfortable.
person oh my, I think I'm gonna use it to refer to myself. Me, my human person character.
Not my alter mummy character or my other character.
Oh, that's funny.
There's a lot of times that I don't feel human. That's why. So, um, yeah, I really like them together. And you know what about Michael is that you're right. He is always he kind of floats between being a kid and being an adult in terms of his age, but he has
Yeah.
all these adult responsibilities. So when Alexis is around, she almost treats him kind of like a kid, like she was taking care of him in that moment and making sure that
It
he
was
had
so
breakfast and
sweet.
sitting. Yeah, it was very kind and
But
sweet and
I
nurturing.
I love that, I really do. Like, especially in their, they call it their extended crazy family. I love that Carly treats all the kids like her kids. And I love that Alexis does
Yes,
the same thing too, like with Michael. I feel like Michael is more present with her. I don't know how close she is with the other ones, but I just love seeing that they just sort of care for the other kids just like they're their own. I just think it's like the sweetest thing ever. So now that we've talked with Sweet, can we just talk about like Sam's insane plan? Because I like hear
oh,
right, she wants to,
make a sex
like,
tape.
while she's unconscious,
Yep, yep. Hmm.
she wants, so she want, like, not like a pretend, like she just volunteered. I just
She
I
has. Oh,
I was
I
so
don't
taken
have
aback.
words. Hmm.
I was so taken aback, not just because of the plan, but also because of her history. She was drugged by Franco and led to believe she was raped for a very
Right.
long time.
Ugh.
And then only found out later through a videotape that it didn't actually happen that way. So, for that specific reason, aside from that it's insane, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if she thinks she, like, I mean, I get it. She wants to help you being noble, but I don't know, there's a, like, you could still do things in a smarter way. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you could maybe take a step back and look at other alternatives. I mean, you're a PI. Anyway, so let's
Well,
just get
okay.
back to that. Like, anyway, so I just, based on her own personal history, I had a hard time wrapping my head around this. Also, the fact that it's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Like you mentioned earlier, she hasn't even spoken to Christine yet to see where her head's at. She doesn't even know, or does she, about Willow. And if Willow's out there and willing to tell her story, there are other women out there willing to tell their story. How about you get those people together and build a damn case?
Right? I mean,
Oh,
look, I don't know how you take cults down, but I don't know that you need to, like, infiltrate it and do all the crazy stuff that they ask of you. Like, I don't think that's like the only way. And it's just, and I get it, she wants to take down the cult. She's happy her sister's out, but clearly she doesn't want anyone else to get hurt.
yes,
Very understandable. But it's one thing that you were in the cult because you wanted to stay close with Christina. And I get that. It was such a fragile situation. You needed to kind of keep an eye on her. But she's not in
absolutely.
it anymore. And so I'm not saying, like, I don't know. I just don't think you need to be involved. And I just feel like now that you have Christina out of the picture, which in my mind, I thought this meant that you can kind of have a clearer focus because you're not worried about your sister as much as you were. And so with a clear head, you can actually start acting like a PI again. So, like, talking to sources, building a case, acquiring information like you normally would. Like, I thought this would just sort of shift her back. I mean, she has a partner and she's
Yes.
not really working with Curtis. So yeah, I'm just sort of like, I just don't see. I think it would be great if Sam could contribute to taking Shiloh down. I just don't see it happening.
Neither do I. Not this way. She's so deep in and she's so lost and messed up right now. It's really hard to watch.
Because even Jason's like, you need to not do this no more. like one, you're not doing a really good job. Like, objectively, you're not doing great. Yeah, so I don't even know. I don't even know. And in terms of like the incident that happened, like, it was just hilarious because, like, everyone got the text that Christina was safe. And
Mhm.
then, like, she doesn't. She's just like, it's like she's like the last to know. And it's like, people are like, they hate it. They're like, oh, I don't like to be the last to know. Everyone always forgets me. And it's just like, I kind of understand now, because when you're the last to know, you could get tattooed, you could get branded. Like, if no one tells you stuff. You could be
Okay,
doing really horrible things.
let's hit pause for a second because, okay, I have never drank a tea before I've gotten a tattoo. Like, yeah, tattoos are painful. I don't need tea. And
Right.
your special tea. Like, she's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'll be okay without your magic tea.
Yeah, so he was okay with her not having the teeth. So I guess he's
Yeah.
confident that she'll want to have sex with him. But also, they don't tell you what the ceremony is. It's not the point. I'm drugging you so it feels more special, I guess, because nothing good is actually happening. You know, like I'm tattooing you and you didn't know. Surprise. Like how like aside from him like raping them, having sex
Hmm.
without their consent, really, I'm just so curious. Like, are they just like, oh, I got a tattoo? Like, I just don't know. Like, I'm just wondering, like, how many of them were like, yeah, what does this
I
mean? Like, what is the symbol? Like, that's not what we're called. Like,
okay, but I had a thought before I lose it in the giggles. Okay, so everything is usually so specific and precise. What they wear, prepping the room, getting
right?
what's her face down from
That's a
teacher's corner.
ritual.
So, and once you start it, you can't stop like a train, but apparently you can't still stop trains, but you can't stop this ritual. Anyways, Shiloh with Sam, it's like he loses himself. So, what is the
Yeah.
infatuation with her? Like, I'm very fascinated, apart from the creepiness, set that aside, that his way of maneuvering the situation with her is so far different. He makes such exceptions for her. Why?
Honestly, I don't know if being with Sam is one upping his dad or one upping Jason. I don't even know.
Ooh.
I really don't
Hmm.
know what that obsession is. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that, like, because I mean, he claims, I don't really know what's true with him, but
Mm-hmm.
part of me believes he doesn't really hold a grudge for what she with her dad. But I guess maybe knowing that she's a tough nut to crack and that she's so independent that maybe feels like it's a win that he has her because he usually goes after the vulnerable and she's not vulnerable.
True.
And so
Ew.
maybe he just feels like it's a victory that he thinks he has her. But about like everything that happened in that house, like around Sam and the ritual and Jason busting in, that was funny. I have to say, like when Jason showed up, I'm like, she's like a second away from getting a tattoo, but obviously he has time to drive over
I
and
know.
check it out. But like the funny thing was is that he was at the door and he appeared all like calculating and thinking like how do I do this, and then he just kicked the door open. I started laughing because I'm like I didn't even see that coming. I thought he was like looking for a more subtle way, but I love it. He just didn't give a crap. He's like, no, I'm gonna kick the door down and hit you with my gun. Like I don't even care. And so like we had so many comments. So knitting the blues on Insta. So she had a lot to say, but I wanted to like she raised a couple of points. Okay, and like this is point one.
Mhm.
Okay, this is about Sam. Does she already forget the photo she found? There are cameras hidden in the house. So like that I feel like brings up a lot. Like she's doesn't seem to have made the connection that there was a camera. Like I don't know
No.
if she thought that he hired a photographer
They
or
just hide
like
to the ceiling.
right or like set up like a the timer on his cell phone. Like he walked away and then like did that because that's even really that's weirder I think than having the video cameras in her house.
Yes.
So she doesn't make that hint, but there are cameras in the house. And when Jason came in, that's what I was worried about because I'm like, okay, well, no matter what you do, there's video, and I don't know if he has a video running 24/7. Clearly not, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that we would have seen that since then. But I was just like, yeah, I guess that's a really good point. She wants to cover for Jason rather than just like leaving.
Absolutely.
And like there might be cameras in the house, and she's a PI, and she hasn't figured that out. So that's a bit weird.
But I just love how easy it was to get out of that. Oh yeah, some guy came in and he just like smashed you over the head because he was mad about something. Like it was
Yeah,
just
like
the
mad about his son, and
funniest.
I threw a vase at him. Like he was bold enough to break in, kick a door down, smack Shiloh down, and he got scared because Sam threw a vase at him. It didn't even appear to hit him; it hit the wall. Whatever, whatever. But like another point that she brought up was right after she's caught, not caught, coming out of that office. All
Yes.
the pledges are removed, and she doesn't make the connection that Shiloh might be onto her. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Oh.
Because who would be onto him? Like if he moved the pledges, like who is he suspecting is onto him, right?
Exactly.
People could people connected to Christina. Like I don't know. Like part of me wonders like he has to be stupid to not suspect Sam, but he has such a huge ego. I don't know. The whole thing is just like, I think now Jason and like just might lose his patience with her. Be like, what's wrong with you up in the head? Like, what's going on up there?
I think so too. Like, it's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. Like, Jason needs to react. He needs to say, like, no, this is not how we're handling it. I don't care if you want to handle it by yourself. This is not happening.
But it's like, obviously no one can really tell her what to do, but to expect that he's going to support, oh, yeah. Go get drugged, allow him to have sex with you, let's videotape it. I'm on board with this plan because clearly there's no other sensible option. Because this is the only way cults have ever been taken down. Whatever. That's just, anyways, I just can't with that. It's a little ridiculous. Okay.
Agreed.
So like on a lighter note, so Willow's out of there, everybody is sort of like so grateful for her. And so Chase shows up. So explain this to me. Chase says he's sorry. He was just worried things would go sideways, and that like somehow this could have played right into Shiloh's hands, and he didn't want to put Christina or Willow at risk. How would him proving that Christina's family stole her like prevent Christina and Willow from any harm from Shiloh? I don't understand like what he's saying.
None of it made sense to me. His intensity of the search, him showing up at the house, and what he said to Willow, and then he's, when he said to Michael too, like, man, I didn't want you to think this, and I was just looking out for everybody.
How?
Nothing connected to me. It almost felt, honestly, like different writers wrote the scenes and they forgot to talk to each other.
I like that would be really bad.
I know, and I'm not
Really
saying
bad.
that's what happened, but like I
No,
can't figure out what his intentions were.
But you're right. There's no logical explanation because I would want to hear it. You're acting like a crazy person. If you were on Michael's side, why couldn't you just communicate that? You're breaking the rules to find his sister. Why couldn't you have just sort of explained to him how you were trying to help him or how this would be helpful? Anyways, I'm just kind of like a little annoyed there, and I just wondered if that's sort of the beginning of like the types of wedges we may see that will push Chase and Willow apart down the line, straight up into Michael.
Well, you know what? I did think that there was that scene with Willow and Michael where he opened up to her about kind of did about what opened up in jail. So when I saw that scene and she was saying to him too that you're the only person I can speak to in this way, in my head I was like, the triangle's back. Even if no one else knows,
yes,
the triangle's
it's back.
back.
It's so back. And what I loved about that scene with Michael and Willow when he told her about what happened to him in jail, I just love the subtlety of how they respond. That's just so amazing between them. It's just that Willow was like, you saw her reaction being like, okay, what happened to him? And then she just sort of continues on. It was just a really cool, subtle reaction and communication that they have in that scene. Like, I feel like his life is crazy, but she can kind of roll with it. Like, even with Christina being kidnapped, and even with, a big bomb he kind of just dropped on her about the way he can relate to her experience with Shiloh. I just think it's interesting because Michael always comes off as insane when he speaks about his family and his whole life and how dramatic it's all been for him. But I just find she just doesn't seem freaked out.
That's a really, really good observation. Yes, the type of women he chooses, they're normally like this weak, dainty women. And Willow, like you said, she rolls with the punches and she can also read the situation. Like she could have asked questions and, basically tried to figure out what happened, but she waited. She paused and she just knew it wasn't the right time and that wasn't the situation which we're to discuss. And she just seems to always know how to do that with him. And they have this deep connection where they can talk about things that they don't talk to anybody else about.
Is she like female Michael? Because you said that she knows how to read the situation and when to pull back, and that's tact that Michael has.
Ooh.
I think they're, I don't know. Chase kind of made me mad a little bit. Maybe he needs to take his shirt off soon in his scene to win me back. So speaking of how Willow is kind of awesome and not really weak, are you not mad at how Nina approached her? I just want Willow to, and you know what? It's true. She has her job and she can't actually piss off Nina. Otherwise, she could lose her job. So that's one.
Yes.
But I was so angry at accusing her. I'm like, you don't know a thing about her. You keep harassing her out in public. Like, you keep coming up to her and bothering her when it's unrelated to Charlotte. I
I want somebody else to witness what happens. Like either it's Chase or Michael, because they always see Nina. She's not being super friendly, but they never get to witness the rest of the conversation. And before this actress who plays Nina leaves, I would love if she is the one who found out that Willow is her daughter, and then that would kind of close the loop for me. And then the new Nina can come in and
Do you know what's really funny?
fill in for the rest.
Michelle Stafford actually posted a picture of her with the new Nina this
Really, I
week.
love
Yeah.
it.
So it just feels like maybe they've actually finished filming. I don't know, or
Mm.
started filming with the new person. We shall see. Okay, so in keeping with DOD and rhyming, okay, so I'm sorry, but this was like the best thing ever. Val, Brad, and Lucas. Okay, so the one thing I am loving about this storyline is that more info is being shared, and the concept that DOD isn't on the up and up keeps getting spread a little bit more. So I'm really liking that.
Same.
So so like I think she had the best line ever. So like when they're like Brad is in DOD, she's like, well, stop. Like it was just so amazing. And I posted it and she responded to us, which was really cool.
How amazing. It's
Right?
so fun when you get rewarded for that type of situation. And we geek out because like these people, we watch them on TV and it's freaking incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, I like her. I mean, look, I like the new Val, and I like that she was willing to kind of confront Brad and point that out, and more importantly, do it in front of Lucas. Like, hi, Lucas, your husband's in a cult. Like, and the fact that like I don't like. I mean, obviously, Lucas knows something is wrong with Brad because how could he be thrilled with the way that Brad behaved toward his cousin?
I was blown away, but it just shows how much he's sucked in at this point in time. Um, but yeah, I was surprised that Lucas didn't kind of step up a little bit more.
Yes, in that context of the conversation with Val, like I really feel like he might have just said like calm down, like why are you being so dismissive, like you're kind of proving her point that you're kind of like unwilling to hear everything. But we know like Brad is going through so much guilt, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, Shiloh like touches his head and relaxes him
Oh.
and makes him forget like the horrible thing that he did. Like I don't even know right now about Brad. So Philip 1983 said, that's right. He's going to wind up with no job, no life, and Sunny will get him not to mention Carly, and finally Michael will have it all. I just hope and pray there's no legal battle with Lucas.
And if there's a legal battle, it's really confusing because they're also intertwined. You know, Lucas is Carly's brother or half brother.
Brother. Well, they have
Brother.
the
And
same mom,
okay,
so
so
half
they're
brother.
siblings. They're
Yeah.
related.
Yeah, I don't think she considers him a half brother. I think she considers him a brother. Like he's
Yeah.
Carly's half brother and Sam's half brother.
Right. That's confusing to my brain, man.
Well, yeah. Like TJ today talking to Jordan, being like, "Hey, mom, how's Uncle Curtis? You mean her
Right?
husband and your stepdad? Whatever." It was just super funny.
Uncle
Um,
Dad.
yeah, totally. So I don't think that there's gonna be a legal battle. I think Lucas will just be heartbroken
Yes, I
because I think
agree.
he'll be dealing with possibly the end of his marriage slash losing his baby, and he was innocent in all this, and I think it's going to be hard to give his baby up, but I don't think he'd try to keep the baby from Michael.
Oh, 100% I agree. He plays that role. You know, he doesn't have he's kind and he's generous and he's thoughtful. And that's why him and Brad is such a weird combination because Brad is like the devil.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Most people kind of agree with you. So M Torres underscore King said, Weasel Brad sure
Aw.
got on the defensive. I hope he gets what's coming to him. I can hardly wait to see when he finally gets found out. I hope Sunny and Carly put the screws to him. While they're at it, this made me laugh. They can add Shiloh to the mix. Yeah. Because we know that, Alexis won't. She's already killed enough people. So if Sunny and Carly can just handle Shiloh, that would be amazing. But yeah, Brad's like, I don't know, like he's done a lot of bad things. This is probably the worst thing he's ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Like he did two things simultaneously: stolen the baby and joined a cult, that's impressive.
It
So
is, though. So do you think that, you know how he was saying, or Shiloh was saying to Brad, bring in the person or the mother or the person who's bothering you so that we can all kind of hash this out? So is Brad going to eventually have to say, like, the baby's not yours? Like, is it going to not come down to DNA test? It's going to come down to him freaking out and saying, this is not your baby, this is Michael's.
Wow, that's really a good question, and that's not where I thought you were going. I don't know. He might just lose it because at this point it really is building up, so we don't know how his stress is going to manifest. And if Willow keeps pushing, you never know. But the
Yes.
thing is, Willow's pushing, but she's not pushing to get the baby. And if she told him that Shiloh's the father, I think that might help. I was kind of worried that he was going to give Willow's name up
Same.
to Shiloh, which was like, well, there's the beginning of the end for you. But I think he might be stupid enough to give Shiloh too much information and screw himself. I mean, I think he'll be part of like uncovering the truth of himself. Like I think he'll be part of outing himself with this whole thing because he's lacking information about Shiloh and he's super stressed out and he didn't help matters when he showed up to Charlie's all happy to see Julian and
Oh
Lucas
my
was already there.
gosh. Okay, but here's the thing. Like, he's so, like, Brad is supposed to be like conniving and sneaky. And then he shows up, he's like, oh, Lucas, I didn't know you were going to be here. He'd be like, oh, hon, I saw your car out front. I'm so glad I found you. And you make up an excuse.
Also, there were windows like
Right.
leading up to the door. Like it's all window. Like, because he obviously was smiling because he saw Julian. I mean, I know he saw his husband's back, but you should know your husband's back. Whatever. It's just because, like, I mean, it's closed. So who would Julian have there closed? Not many people.
Oh, that was
Hashtag your
just.
husband. Anyways,
Oh,
whatever. I don't even think that's how you would use that. But
I know.
uh, so the thing with Lucas and Julian, I just was like, oh my God, I need so much more Lucas. Like, I need more. I am just
Mhm.
really upset that we don't get a lot of him. First of all, both of them with their voices, their deep, manly voices in that scene, I was just like loving this. But I felt so horrible for Julian because he's trying to protect Lucas, but
I
he's
know.
lying to him. And that's
Oh,
not good considering their history. So also lying, not good. Anyways, so yeah, I just was like, wow, so much is happening in this scene. And like you have Lucas apologizing to you. And there's just so much that I wish he could tell Lucas because for one, Willow told him, Julian, I would rather you be around the baby than Shiloh. You're a good guy. Like be with your grandson. And that's the thing that's keeping
hmm.
Lucas and him kind of apart because Lucas, I think, is willing to sort of have him in his life way more than Sam is. And the distance between Julian and the baby is because Lucas is respecting the mother's wishes.
Right. Okay, thanks for refreshing my memory there.
No
I
prob, Bob.
So here's the thing too, like, I don't understand how, like, Brad, the only way he can look a little altruistic in this entire situation is by not ratting out Julian. That's the only
Yeah.
way I think this can play out. Like, you're taking away his kid, you're breaking up the marriage, and just don't take away his relationship with his dad. Like, he won't have that many people to rely on at this
Oof.
point because I'm worried about where does Julian stand now? There's already this distance. Like you said, Willow hasn't, there was that wedge that's already put in. And then what happens? What happens to poor Julian? I love Julian now.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was listening to the Stone Cold. Well, no, it's not. That's what it's called anymore. Steve Burton and That's Awesome podcast. It
Yes.
was so good. I listened to the episode with Julian on it. It was freaking amazing. He speaks French. He talks a little bit about his life in Montreal. So there was so much Montreal,
Oh.
Canada slash GH Today because I listened to that and on GH Today they were in Canada. I'm going to say that in air quotes for now and we'll
Until we
get to that
talk about it,
after.
yeah.
But yeah, so it was really, really cool. All those like Canadian connections there. Yeah, so I think that would be really telling of where Brad is because he's done a lot of crappy things. He dug himself a hole. He put himself in this awful cycle of lies. And you're right, when he gets caught, how he chooses to deal with it and if he doesn't take down everyone with him, that might be the redeeming quality of his character after everything that's gone down
I agree.
to not rat out to Julian. So on to like someone who, like you said, is like evil to just I'm gonna go with silly Anna. The
Oh.
nicest term I can use at this point. So just explain some stuff to me. Well,
What
first,
would you like clarification on?
well, one, I'm super happy Hayden's coming back because I think Finn can use Hayden
Can
because
use
I don't
some
know what's
normal.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with Anna, But in terms of proposing, I think Robert's being a jerk holding on to that ring, and he's really digging his man heels, or what do you call loafers, man loafers, in with Anna. And I mean, how she's not seeing it, I don't know. But there was a moment that Finn had with Anna where she's like talking about how she's excited about their future, and they were at the hospital, and I was like, look, it's not the most romantic setting, but sometimes it's romantic when you're just in the moment, and I feel like you should have just asked her.
Oh, I agree.
You
I thought
know,
that was
just
the perfect moment, and planning it out and making it super perfect is going to blow up in his
it's
face.
not Anna. You know what I mean? Like, I don't picture Anna being like, oh, the big romantic gesture. I picture Anna maybe more inclined to agree if it was like a day-to-day proposal, like them just being at the hospital and him just sort of blurting it out when they were having a loving moment. I think would have been interesting. But what's kind of like having me go, what is happening now? Like, so she went crazy and now she's so sane because Robert brings up, maybe Peter's not your son. And I'm like, this was not considered because we had
I
talked about this,
know.
and
Weeks ago.
I thought that they like dismissed this concept, and that like for some odd reason it was confirmed it was her son because of some DNA test that was done. I don't know, but yeah. So this comes up, and so now she's faced with this reality. Oh no, Peter not being my son. Did it phase her? She's like, oh, I don't think he's my son. Oh well, what you gonna do? Can't find proof. And I was just like, are you joking right now? Because like when you thought Robin wasn't yours, like I get it, she was your daughter longer, but you lost your mind. You found ways of finding proof. Like you bent over backwards. And with Peter, you're like, yeah, maybe he's my son, maybe he's not my son, but I'll just, be his mother because that's what matters and that's what I feel in my heart. She couldn't do that with Robin, being like, you're just my daughter. Like you're just mine.
She's just, it's so hard
I was
sometimes
just
to
like,
like.
she's like accept shit. Because at one point she goes, acceptance is freeing. And I was like, what are you talking about? This didn't apply to Robin. I'm like, I can't follow the crazy right now. And like, part of what helps me understand like her state and her back and forth and her like highs and lows is a lot of what you were saying. This is her first time at stable life without spy life. And it's true. She has so much more time to think. And
Mhm.
her life is very stable and less chaotic. So, in a way, she's probably trying to make her life chaotic, like filling that hole that all her spy work would have filled.
True, all the drama.
Yeah, so I mean, now the behavior makes sense, even though I don't really like it. So, I mean, I can follow this a little bit better, but I just thought it was kind of ridiculous. And also, Robert, like I said, is digging in his loafers trying to find place in Anna's life, but then he's also asking Laura out at the same time. What's going on? What's going on, Robert? What's going on? And I didn't even know
I
he was with
know.
Holly. They broke up. I was like, you're with Holly? Okay, that wasn't obvious.
Not at all, because he's always popping in from wherever the heck he was finding files or papers or whatever the heck he
Well,
does.
he wants to go look for more files to
Oh my
prove
God, just
to,
like,
yeah,
I just, I don't understand. Like, he was so intense in that moment. And, when Finn had to step in and say, I think it's enough. She's saying that
yeah.
she doesn't want anymore. Like, good on Finn. He stood up for himself. But just, Robert, my gosh, just say what you want to say. Steal Anna. Go look at files together. Like, figure it out.
Steal Anna. I love that. That's really funny. Steal Anna. And then, I mean, she's tiny, so I guess he
I
could
know.
easily just scoop her up. So
Oh,
speaking of like return, so Robert says he's staying for a bit, clearly, because he's
yes.
sticking around for the nurse's ball and he's sticking around to date Laura, I guess, until Anna's free. So somebody else showed up. So Jack showed up this week.
Yes, I was so excited. It was like I knew it would be coming eventually, but it was like seeing a long lost friend. I was like, Jax.
I loved it. I have actually, like, I'm so excited about Jax right now. I have a few random things to say about it. So, one, I just love how cordial Jax and Jason were. And part of me wants that. I mean, I know with him and Sunny, there was this history and they tried, like, they tried their best. But at the same time, I kind of want them all to get along because of the, like, iconic, legendary characters they are.
Mhm.
I sort of want them to just not fight. Maybe that's stupid. I don't think this. I mean, I know we watch soap operas for drama, but I have to say, like, I just loved the respect between Jason and Jax. And I loved how he said, I see you and her also. You're joyful, compassionate, kind.
Yes.
And and like Carly's reaction in the background is priceless. She's like, I'm joyful. I'm joyful. The funny thing is, like, I always call Johnny a killjoy. Like, I'm like, oh, find joy. You just stomp right all over it. So this week I called him a killjoy again, or like, oh, I called him joyless because we're at the kitchen table and like we're having fun, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so joyless. Like, just have a little fun. And so then he's like, I have joy. I have, and I'm like, whoa, this feels like a complete flash to like Carly's scene happening in my real life. And he had seen part of the scene. Like I showed him like a gif of the whole thing, and then
Yeah.
he like started laughing because he realized he sounded like Carly,
Oh
even though he
my
didn't even hear
gosh.
the scene. He just saw like a visual image of it on Twitter, and I thought that was super funny. But about Jax, this is so crazy. So I was listening to, I think, another episode of That's Awesome podcast today, and they
Mhm.
mentioned Jax. This is so crazy. So they were talking about the Emmys, which happened like over the weekend, and so then he was saying, Steve Burton was saying he was presenting with Jax, and he had to go in the day before to like rehearsal, and so
Mhm.
the actor who plays Jax goes, I can't make it. So Steve was just sort of getting all the info for both of them. Do you know what he was doing?
What?
He's becoming a lifeguard. He wants to be a lifeguard. So he was like in the middle of like the crazy like physical tests that you do to
Oh.
be a lifeguard in LA. And I'm like, can you tell me where so I can go drown? Like, uh, yeah, isn't that insane? So like even Bradford was like, wait a minute, he wants to be a lifeguard, like so like on the weekends. He's like, but he has like a family and he works. Yeah, like he actually. I think he's like, is this part of a show, like a reality show that he's doing? Like, no, like he's legit. He wants like he's obviously outdoorsy, like loves the water, does water sports. But yeah, he did all the tests and stuff to be a lifeguard.
Wow, we really need to look into that. We need to look into that. Need to look in DA Margot. She has a salon out in LA as well. There's
Well,
all these. Chase used to do
Chase,
spin classes.
yeah, so he might still do that, and who knows? And Christina does yoga. She teaches yoga as well.
Yeah, we need to
We
get out
gotta we
there.
gotta go to LA. We gotta go
Do
to
a
LA.
tour.
We gotta
We
stalk
do.
people. We gotta stalk hard. So yeah, so that whole Jax thing was just amazing. I loved it. It was so funny, and I'm excited. And even more excited when he was just like, "Okay, did you catch this?" Like, it's really funny that he wants to buy Kate's house. It's just like funny and morbid because like she did get murdered. Anyway,
Yes.
so he wants to buy her house and like no one's been living in it. Whatever. So there was a point where she's like, Jax, you're staying here. Did you even get to the hotel? He's like, I already have it. She's like, are you staying around a while? Carly kind of almost looked like, I don't know if she was worried about him and Sunny, but like the look on her face more looked like feelings, like if you're around too much.
She did look very happy to see him.
But yeah, she just had a reaction to him sticking around, but whatever. Like for Joss's sake, I hope Sunny doesn't do anything crazy to
Same.
Jax. As part of why he left was Sunny messed with his green card.
Oh, is that why they had that
Yeah.
green card conversation? And their conversation was so cheeky and like their
Yeah.
expressions between Sunny and Jax. I was like, okay, there's something underlying here, but I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry, I got you. I'll, I'll explain. And so, just some little moments that were really cool this week, just more Mike and Sunny, and just to have that scene with both of them. I'm like, are you guys trying to rip my heart out when they were talking
I
about
know.
Courtney when he was just like, if I forget her, will you? I'm like, what are you trying to do to me? But just after both of their Emmy wins, it was like just a really nice scene to have. Not to mention Mike wandering off and finding the engagement ring
I
that
know.
belongs to Finn. I don't know if he's planning on proposing to his lady now, because chances are Mike's holding onto the ring.
Yes. Okay. So I feel like Mike is definitely going to propose because he was like, oh, light bulb moment. And I just magically found this ring. But I also feel that Mike has like this underlying either premonition or I'm not sure what the right word is. But remember when he saw Wiley for the first time a while back? He's like, oh, wow, he looks
Yes.
just like Michael. And then this time he said, oh, you're going to have your baby soon. But he is going to actually have his
Oh,
baby soon, you
oh,
know?
I got goosies. Oh, I know. Like I said, every time people say things, I think that they're telling me what's going to happen, even though it's like I don't know. But oh my gosh, I've even catch those little subtleties. That's so crazy. That's really crazy. One thing I just wanted to mention, so real quick about Shiloh and Kim's talk, where
Oh,
once again he's
yes.
trying to fish for information about whether she
Mm-hmm.
knows about Drew's past. And so, okay, I think this just might be an insane thought, but I was like, what if Shiloh has something to do with Drew's kidnapping?
You know what? I wouldn't deny that because he it's almost too like he's looking for any evidence that was left behind. Like he left something behind or he made a mistake along the way because he kept asking, "Did you leave something behind? Did he leave you
Yeah.
something
I
special?"
love that. I love that. I think he thinks he left something behind. He asked him, did he leave anything behind?
Shut it.
How did you pick up on that?
I'm very insightful. I'm just like so deep.
funny.
It's a good thing we can't swear on this, or we choose not to swear on this
Yes.
podcast.
Keep it clean. Oh, I'd be swearing at left and right. And I know you can't, so whatever. Do you want to talk about your Scooby-Doo crew? I actually write that in my notes now. And
Oh, I love it.
I felt bad confessing this to you, but it's like, I know Scooby-Doo, but I don't think I know it as well as you. Like, I think,
I
like,
was wondering about that too.
I
Like,
know
does she even
who
know?
Scooby-Doo, I know who they are. I think I've seen the cartoons, never really been interested, but I'm like, I think that's, like, before my time. And I know see, this is the moments where you would swear at me because you're like, it's not that much time, but anyways, yeah.
Oh
So,
my.
but I call them that. So I just have to say, like, well, Lucy's just sort of honorary because she's in the vicinity of this storyline. I just gotta
Exactly.
say, she's gone full blown cray when it comes to Kevin and Ava. I'm like, it's just funny because some people are like willing to wear their crazy on their sleeves, and I just prefer to be like crazy in private. Like these are things that like I'm like you're like whenever I see her, I'm like I can't believe you're saying this stuff out loud. Like you're clearly showing how jealous you are. It's crazy. It's just so crazy. So it looks like her and Scott are gonna. Well, she's gonna try to convince Scott to like keep. Anyways, I don't. It's a
Do you
waste
want
of
to
her
finish that
energy.
thought?
No, because I'm like, you're wasting your time. Like, it's all pretend. Scott knows it's pretend. Go sell Jax a house. Handle the nurse's ball. Unless it's going to play into some funny comedy at the nurse's ball. I don't know. But yeah, like, and then when she tried to, like grab Ava and she's acting like, oh, what are you
I
gonna do?
know.
What do you mean? What is she gonna do? She will murder you and kick like she'll
Exactly.
kick your like I was just like, are you seriously acting like you don't know what Ava can do to you? Like I was just like, you are delusional. So we have like okay, so I guess sometimes we forget that new characters may not know other characters' histories the way that like Ava didn't really know about Kevin and
True.
Ryan, but Curtis does not seem to know who Laura is.
I know. And I thought it was so funny because she's all badass. She's like, I'm coming with you. And he's all like, you're a little lady. Are you going to come with me? Are you sure that's okay? And I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're in store for.
No, and I just find it so funny. Like she's just like I don't know. She's like like I guess marrying is easy because like Ned made it look like I have stuff to do and I gotta rebuild the city. She's just like off on missions with Jason and Curtis. And she's like I don't know. Don't you have like a handler and like security and whatever? I just find the whole thing really hilarious. But it's just that she's like a government person in her town, and then today she's pretending to be working for the Canadian government, and I'm just like, this is hilarious. Um, but and he finally realizes that she's cool because he's like, I thought I'd have to like kind of mind my p's and q's with you, and he realizes he didn't, and he sort of called her on the whole like Kevin Ava thing. He's like, it looks like they're trying to flesh Ryan out. You know, she's like, yeah. She's like that. So, anyways, but the thing is, they did find Ryan. They just don't know it. And I just don't know how they could have dismissed that house. You went to like it's an abandoned house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was mail dated from when Ryan was not somewhere, but isn't that like even more incentive that he could be in that house? I don't know. Why wouldn't you look in the
Exactly.
house? I think that's a bit not good. Like I just think you guys should know a little bit better. But yeah, so I love them working together. It's super adorable. Meanwhile, Ava is like I don't know, kissing Kevin, taking photos, then
But
trying to kiss him again.
it's sad though, because like you know
Yeah.
that she's faking it, but there's also a woman who's broken who thought she was in love with somebody like Kevin.
Right? And so part of me is happy that they addressed this because the first kiss was kind of for social media. And I think the kiss took her by surprise. Like she was really shook by it. But then when she was trying to comfort him in the hospital after he couldn't give his kidney to Jordan, she went in for a kiss, which was totally different. And I just think that, okay, this makes sense. And I'm glad you're doing this. And I'm glad you're addressing this. Like, yes, Kevin's back and he's back with Laura and she knows that she wasn't with the real one. But the point is, she like you pointed out she was broken, she was traumatized, and like
Mm-hmm.
I would expect for her to have weird feelings when it comes to Kevin. Wouldn't it be confusing? So I'm glad that they're just allowing room for that to happen. But did you think that maybe Kevin, like I know he was setting boundaries and trying to make it clear that they're not together, and he says he'll do her this favor, but that the next time like the whole thing's over. I don't know, did you think he was being harsh with her?
I think he was being a little overly defensive. I think that maybe maybe he may have felt something. Like, I don't know, he harbors all this guilt with all
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff happening, and that her daughter got killed in this whole process of him keeping his brother alive. That maybe it's not love, maybe it's not a crush, but there is something. Like, you don't just get that like defensive. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. That could be a clue. I don't know. They're just so cute together. And like I said, like the thing we didn't know was that they were together in another soap opera. So this is kind of interesting watching them together. And also Kevin's
Yes.
cooler since he's been back
Yeah,
from
he's got a little
captivity.
edge.
Yeah, he does. So I am kind of enjoying those two together. And it's more
Anita.
healthy that I'm enjoying it because I know he's not a psycho. So I just feel
Okay,
like,
so I like that you get the difference.
yeah, yeah, I get the difference.
But what's making me laugh is we're like, yeah, Kevin's got some edge. He may have diabetes. He's bad.
Oh my god, we're so lame. Oh my god, that's really funny. Yeah, hashtag
I
love
try.
Kevin. Did I use it right this time?
I think yes, you did.
Okay,
You did.
okay. So Jordan, so he can't be a match, but they sort of brought up something really interesting. They started to ask about extended family members. TJ was asking anybody else, cousins, second cousins, aunts, uncles. So I think that's an like I'm kind of intrigued just to see like if they are going to expand the Ashford family and bring somebody else in.
That would be interesting. I would be open to
I'm
that.
just yeah, I'm just really curious about that. I think it would be really cool. I don't know who they'd bring out and how they'd fit, but I'm like kind of excited for like their expanded family because they're I think that they're just going to be a family in GH for like a very long time. So it's cool to see them develop. There was something. Okay, okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So I am always back and forth with these two, Maxie and Peter. So at first I'm like, this is lame. Like, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Like, make dates, don't make dates, cancel dates. Are you not ready? It's like, oh my gosh, like this is really annoying. So then they get on the plane and I'm like super excited that he like whisks her off on this date. And it's like
Yes.
super intense. But then I'm like, okay, but now you're on a plane with someone for like 7 hours or more
I know.
because I know it's like roughly 7 hours for us, and I'm just like you're sitting across and staring. I don't know. I would find that a little awkward if that
Staring at
were
each other for
me.
7 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I find it a little awkward. Okay, so at first I was like. At first I was like this is not lame because like he got close to her and started making out with her, so I thought that was kind of cool. Unless so
Yes.
I was like, hey, you guys aren't lame. This date was worth it. Paris is great, awesome. So I'm thinking that they're in Paris. Like, so today's episode, she's like, oh, this is amazing as you said. And he's like, sorry for the long trip. And I'm like, why are you saying sorry? Paris is far. And then she shows this like beret that she bought for her son. And then they start like getting it on. And she's just like, I want to go buy lingerie. So all this time,
I oh,
I'm like,
that's
you're
some willpower, man. That's some serious
right?
willpower.
You're like, I need to go get lingerie now because I don't want to go to bed tonight with flannels. And I'm like, I don't think you'll be going to bed in flannels, but whatever. So so all this time I'm like, okay, they're in Paris. But then like I had to rewind and rewatch because I'm like, did I blank out like when I was watching this? And so then they have make subtle comments like, oh well, plans change and it was still French-esque. And I'm like, okay, so I guess they're dropping hints that they're not in Paris, but it's not obvious until she comes back from the lingerie store with Curtis and Laura.
It was very confusing. I still don't know what's going on. Why do you need lingerie? It's going to be on for 2 seconds. You've waited this long to be with Peter. Why are you bringing people back to your house? Can't you tell them we'll reconvene in the morning?
There was no other hotel room available, is her
Oh
story.
la la.
But what makes it so comedic is that she's all excited to see them. Like she forgot she bought lingerie and she forgot she was about to get some in a while, like, and it's been a while. So
Oh,
so she brings them in and they see that Peter, because Peter's like, well, she's going to get lingerie. Maybe I should do something. And he has like chocolate covered strawberries and all the candles.
yes.
And Curtis and Laura see it because they got eyes. And she's walking in and be like, there's so much room. What? Like, basically, like, what? Why is everything so awkward? And like, can you not like look down or do you not have peripheral vision? I don't know what peripheral vision is when it comes to like up and down. Like, I don't know if that's just vision. Like, you're expected to
It's
see
just
everything. It's just vision. Like, you're expected to see what's on the table. So it's like so awkward. It's like, do you want to stay in that hotel room? You're like, all right. So first of all, like even Laura and Curtis, they're on a business trip, and you're like now all sharing this little condo type hotel room. Like that's not awkward when you're like these two are trying to have sex and now we're
Oh.
here and this is great.
It's a party.
Oh, did you know this? I didn't know this. So when it comes to like Laura and Curtis, you know, loving them together, but
Mhm.
At the Pretty Pixie pointed this out. Laura Weber is the most hands-on mayor since Mayor Luke Spencer. She may no longer sport the last name, but she'll always have the Spencer spirit. What? I didn't know that.
Me
I don't
neither.
picture Luke marrying.
I'm gonna have to Google
Not
that.
on the up and up anyway, so I gotta Google that.
Exactly.
And at Websnet said one of the best things is making her mayor. She gets involved with everything. Well, I'm just, you know, loving Laura. I love that she's just like adventurous and just doing her own thing. She's like, I'm mayor, but I don't care. She's mayor,
More
she doesn't
rhyming.
care. We're rhyming. She's chilling in a hotel with a bunch of people. Like, oh my god, it's just such the weirdest combo. Like I mean, wow, that's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see like Monday, and I can't wait to see the like what the sleeping arrangements were. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I
that.
mean? Could you imagine like you have like a scene with like Lauren Maxie sharing one room, and then you got like Curtis and Peter sharing
Oh
another.
my gosh, so
I don't
funny.
know. I just feel like maybe we need Laura to be like, hey Maxie, what was happening before you decided to invite us over? What are you doing? Whatever.
Oh,
They're about to
perfect.
have the most like awkward weekend of life.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I hope you and everyone else has a great weekend.
And I hope that that cake, and it will. No, I
Oh
don't hope
yeah.
the cake will survive to be eaten.
Whatever. I have a picture of it if anything. Not that I
You
want
won't remember.
everyone not that I want everyone like licking my phone, but like
Everything will be a-okay. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you soon.
yeah, see you next week.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.